Good afternoon, students. Today's demonstration is about articulated foot. So the articulated foot, it is made up of the bones of the foot. So we have 26 bones that articulate each other. Okay. So with the help of the intertarsal joints, the tarso-metatarsal joints, of course the metatarso-phalangeal joints, and then comes the interphalangeal joints. So with the help of these joints, the 26 bones of the foot, so that forms the articulated foot. So you can see the articulated foot. Okay. So this articulated foot, it belongs to left side. So my articulated foot, it belongs to left side. So with the help of the great toe and with the help of the calcaneum, the medial projection called sustentaculum tali, and this side the fifth metatarsal, the tubercle towards laterally. So that is the position, anatomical position, and this side determination of the articulated foot. So coming to the parts of the articulated foot, mainly the articulated foot has got three main parts. So we have forefoot, midfoot, and hindfoot. Okay, so this is hindfoot, this is forefoot, and this is forefoot, this is midfoot, and here comes the hindfoot. Okay, so the forefoot is made up of metatarsals and phalanges. The metatarsals and phalanges together, that forms the forefoot, and the midfoot is formed by the tarsal bones except the talus and calcaneum. Except the talus and calcaneum, so the remaining tarsals, that forms the midfoot. The hindfoot is formed by the talus and calcaneum. Talus and calcaneum together forms the hindfoot, and the remaining tarsals forms the midfoot, and the metatarsals and phalanges forms the forefoot. So that's about the forefoot, midfoot, and hindfoot. Okay. So that's about the main parts of the articulated foot. So we'll discuss briefly about each and every bone of the articulated foot. Okay. So the first bone of the tarsal, so that is calcaneum. You can see the calcaneum, okay, the weight bearing bone. So that forms the heel. Okay. So and also the posterior pillar of the medial longitudinal arch. So the body weight is transmitted over the posterior pillar, that is formed by the calcaneum. Okay, the largest among all the tarsals. So it has got mainly anterior surface, posterior surface, the medial surface, and lateral surface. So there is a lateral surface, and here comes the medial surface. So over the medial surface of the calcaneum, so there is very important a shelf-like projection. So this projection is called sustentaculum tali. So with the help of the sustentaculum tali, you can determine the side of the calcaneum. So if you ask to determine this side, so if you get the individual bone, okay, so with the help of the sustentaculum tali, you can determine the side of the calcaneum also. So what is this called? Sustentaculum tali. It is a shelf-like projection, so that supports the head of the talus. Okay, so the head of this talus, that lies over the sustentaculum tali. So that's why it is called sustentaculum, means support. Okay, supporting the head of the talus, that is sustentaculum tali. So that lies over the medial surface. Okay, medial surface. The anterior surface of the calcaneum, it is articular. It articulates with the cuboid bone. So thereby forming calcaneo-cuboid joint. Anterior surface of the calcaneum is articular. The posterior surface of the calcaneum is non-articular. Okay. So coming to the plantar surface of the calcaneum, so you can see here, this is the plantar surface of the calcaneum. So the plantar surface of the calcaneum, mainly it shows a tuberosity, what is called calcaneal tuberosity. So this is calcaneal tuberosity. The calcaneal tuberosity, again, it has got medial tubercle, lateral tubercle. Okay. So just in front of this calcaneal tuberosity, so there is one more elevation, what is called anterior tubercle. So these are the features over the plantar surface of the calcaneum. Okay. So coming to the superior surface of the calcaneum, the plantar surface of the calcaneum is otherwise called inferior surface. So this is the superior surface of the calcaneum. So the superior surface of the calcaneum, so that presents mainly three facets. Okay. So we have anterior facet, middle facet, posterior facets. These three facets, so that articulates with the corresponding facets of the talus, thereby forming talocalcaneal joint, talocalcaneal joint. Of course, the middle facet that lies over the sustentaculum tali. So we have three facets over the superior surface of the calcaneum: anterior facet, middle facet, posterior facet. Okay, is it clear? So the in between the middle facet and the posterior facet, so there is a groove. There is a groove called sulcus calcaneum. Sulcus calcaneum. Okay, so groove between the middle facet and the posterior facet. Okay, so is it clear? So the superior surface has got three facets: anterior, middle, posterior. So in between the middle and posterior, there is a groove called sulcus calcanei. Sulcus calcanei. So that's about the superior surface of the talus. Superior surface, posterior surface, and of course this is anterior surface is articular, articulates with the cuboid bone, thereby forming calcaneocuboid. Posterior surface is non-articular. So this is plantar surface. Plantar surface. So coming to the next bone of the articulated foot. So we have on the dorsals we have talus. You can see the talus here. So this is the talus bone. The talus has got head of the talus, neck of the talus, and body of the talus. So it has got head. Okay, head of the talus. So this is the head of the talus, and this is body of the talus. Okay, in between the head and body, so you have the constricted area, that is neck of the talus. Okay, so the head of the talus articulates with the navicular. So this is the navicular bone. So this is navicular head of the talus. This is head of the talus articulates with the navicular bone. Okay, and the body of the talus. So it is very important. It's going to form the ankle joint. Okay, the superior surface of the body. Okay, superior surface of the body. So the trochlear surface. What is called trochlear surface. Okay, so and on the medial surface of the body, lateral surface of the body. The medial surface of the body, so that articulates with the medial malleolus of the tibia, and the lateral surface of the body articulates with the lateral malleolus found with the fibula. So the tibiofibular mortis, so which is placed on the body, so that forms the ankle joint. Ankle joint. Okay, so apart from this the body, it presents the posterior process. You can see the posterior process. So again, it has got medial and lateral tubercles. Medial tubercle, lateral tubercle. The process has got medial tubercle, lateral tubercle. Okay, so that's about the talus. The talus is very important. Of course, it is a keystone of the medial longitudinal arch. So in between the anterior pillar, posterior pillar, so that lies exactly in the summit of the arch, the highest point of the arch, the medial longitudinal arch. It consists of a keystone. Okay, so that supports the medial longitudinal arch, and also factors that maintains the arch. Also, one among the factors, that is keystone. Okay, it acts like a keystone, and very important, the peculiarity of the talus, it doesn't give any muscular attachments. No muscles attached to the talus. Remember this. So there is no muscular attachment to the talus. Okay, so and the talus, the inferior surface of the talus again. So the inferior, of course, it is not seen in this articulated foot. So see the textbooks after the demonstration. Go through the textbooks. And the inferior surface of the talus, again it presents three facets like the superior surface of the calcaneum. So we have anterior facet, middle facet, posterior facet. So these three facets that articulates with the three facets over the superior surface of the calcaneum, so thereby forming talocalcaneal joint. Talocalcaneal joint, and then in between the middle facet and the posterior facet of the talus also, there is a groove called sulcus talli. Sulcus talli. So the sulcus talli and the sulcus calcaneae, so in the articulation of these two bones, so together forms the sinus tarsi. So this is called sinus tarsi. So the pen is in the sinus tarsi. You can see the sinus tarsi. So the sinus tarsi, superiorly it is by the sulcus talli, and inferiorly there is a groove called the sulcus calcaneae. So these two unite to form the sinus tarsi. So this is the sinus tarsi. So within the sinus tarsi, there is a ligament called intraosseous talocalcaneal ligament. So there is an intraosseous talocalcaneal ligament that lies in the sinus tarsi, which is formed by the sinus talli above, sinus calcaneae below. Okay, so in the articulation of these two bones, the talus and the calcaneum, so you can see the sinus tarsi. The sinus tarsi is seen only. Okay, so when you articulate the talus with the calcaneum, of course the grooves, the sulcus. So that is seen in the individual bones, but the sinus tarsi is formed only, okay, so by articulating the two bones. Is it clear? So this is called sinus tarsi. Okay, so that's about the talus. And next, coming to the next bone of the tarsals, we have navicular. You can see the navicular bone. So just in front of the head of the talus, the navicular. Okay. So the navicular has got again the distal surface. So we have the proximal surface. The proximal surface of the navicular is concave, and the concave proximal surface that articulates with the head of the talus. That articulates with the head of the talus. Okay. Of course, that contributes to the talocalcaneonavicular joint, and the dorsal surface of the navicular, which is convex, it is divided into three facets by means of two ridges. The three facets that articulates with the three cuneiforms. The dorsal surface, okay, of the navicular, we have three cuneiform ones. Three cuneiform, 1, 2, 3. Three cuneiform ones. This is navicular bone. Okay. So that's about the proximal surface and the distal surface of the navicular bones, and the dorsal surface and the plantar surface. How to identify the dorsal surface? How to identify the plantar surface? So it is very important. Always remember the plantar surface. Okay. So of the navicular, so that presents a groove here. And also the medial surface of the navicular, it presents very important tuberosity. What is called medial tuberosity? The medial tuberosity of the navicular, or the medial surface of the navicular bone. Okay. So with the help of the medial tuberosity, you can determine the side of the bone. So when it is if you find the individual bone. Okay. So that's about the navicular. Okay. So the lateral surface of the navicular, so it articulates with the cuboid bone. Okay. The lateral surface articulates with the cuboid bone. The medial surface, it has got a tuberosity, medial tuberosity. So that's about the navicular. So as it is a boat-shaped bone, that's why it is called navicular. Okay. And the next bone in front of the navicular, we have three cuneiform bones. So you can see the three cuneiform bones here. So these three cuneiform bones. So among the three cuneiform bones, so we have medial, intermediate, and lateral cuneiform. So among these three cuneiform bones, the medial is the largest bone. The medial cuneiform is the largest among the three cuneiforms. So it has got a kidney-shaped facet over its lateral surface. Thereby it articulates with the intermediate cuneiform bone. So all the three cuneiform bones, they are wedge-shaped. Of course, wedge-shaped. So the broader end of the wedge is over the dorsal surface. The narrow end over the ventral surface. Wedge-shaped bones. Okay. So of course the dorsal surfaces are rough. And coming to the proximal surface of the three cuneiforms, as already we discussed, this proximal surface that articulates with the distal surfaces of the navicular. Okay. So that's about the three cuneiform bones. So coming to the distal surface of the navicular, that articulates with the first, second, and third metatarsal bones. Okay. So that's about the three cuneiform bones. Okay. So next, coming to the last tarsal, that is cuboid bone. You can see the cuboid bone here. So this is cuboid bone. So the cuboid bone, it has got a dorsal surface, plantar surface, and the distal surface, and the proximal surface. So the proximal surface that articulates with the anterior surface of the calcaneum, so thereby forming the calcaneocuboid joint. So the distal surface of the cuboid, that articulates with the fourth and fifth metatarsal bones. Thereby forming tarso-metatarsal joints. The fifth tarso-metatarsal joint and fourth tarso-metatarsal joint, it is in between the distal surface of the cuboid and the basis of the fourth and fifth metatarsal bones. Okay. So that's about the cuboid. So very important, the lateral surface of the cuboid, it presents a groove. Okay. So that is very important. The lateral surface of the cuboid, it presents a groove. So the groove that passes from lateral surface to the plantar surface also. The plantar surface and the lateral surface. So these two surfaces of the cuboid has got the grooved surface. The posterior ridge of the grooved surface, it is again it is called, that is called tuberosity in the plantar surface. Okay. It is prominent, and it is called tuberosity. Okay. So how to determine this side? So with the help of the groove. So the lateral surface of the cuboid is non-articular, it presents a groove, and the medial surface is articular, it articulates with the lateral cuneiform bone. So that is about the cuboid bone. Okay. The groove is very important. The groove is seen over the lateral surface of the cuboid. So that's all about the tarsal bones. Okay. And coming to the metatarsal bones. So we have the metatarsals. So you can see the metatarsal bones here. The first metatarsal is it is short and thicker than the other 4 metatarsals. You can see here. So this is the first metatarsal. It is short and thicker than the other 4 metatarsals. So each metatarsal, so we have each metatarsal has got so this is called the proximal end. Of course, this is called the distal end. Proximal end is called, okay, this proximal end is called base, and the distal end is called head. Okay, so intervening shaft, you can see the shaft. Of course, these bones are the miniature long bones. So we have the metatarsal bones. Okay, the first and fifth metatarsal you can easily identify. So because the first one is short and thicker than the other bones, the fifth metatarsal, it presents the tuberosity. The tuberosity is seen only in the fifth metatarsal. So no metatarsal, no, the other 4 metatarsal doesn't have any tuberosity. Only the fifth metatarsal, it has got the tuberosity. Okay, so with the help of the tuberosity, you can identify the fifth metatarsal, and the first one is the short and the thicker than the other bones. Okay, so the shaft of all the metatarsals, they are convex over the dorsal surface, and they are concave over the plantar surface. So that's about the shaft of the metatarsals. Okay, so you can see the second, third, and fourth metatarsals, they are identified. Okay, so with the help of the posterior proximal surfaces, the proximal, the ends of the bases. Okay, so the bases, so that means the facets over the bases, or those facets are triangular in shape, triangular shaped facets. So over the second, third, and fourth metatarsals. So with the help of those facets, you can identify the second, third, and fourth metatarsal bones. So that's about the metatarsals. The heads of the metatarsals that articulates with the phalanges. You can see the phalanges. So the second, third, fourth, fifth metatarsals. Okay, so that articulates with the 3 phalanges, 3 each. Okay, so we have proximal, distal, and the proximal, intermediate, and distal phalanges. Okay, so 3 phalanges for second, third, fourth, and fifth. And so if you take the first toe has got only 2 phalanges. We have proximal and distal. There is no intermediate phalanges. Okay, over the first toe. So the second toe onwards, it has got 3 phalanges. Okay, 3 each. Okay. So that's about the phalanges. So and again, these phalanges together, they are connected by the interphalangeal joint, and the proximal phalange, so that articulates with all the heads of the metatarsals. You can see here. So all the heads of the metatarsals that articulates with the proximal phalanges. Okay. So that's about briefly about the articulated foot. So if you see the articulated foot, the proximo-distally the tarsals are arranged, followed by the metatarsals. Then comes the phalanges. So coming to the very important joints of the articulated foot. So that is so the important joint among the intertarsal joints. So we have okay. So if you see the talus and the calcaneum, so in between the talus and calcaneum, there is a talocalcaneal joint, and so in between the talus, the navicular. Okay, so we have the and the calcaneum also, talocalcaneo-navicular joint that comes here, and there is one more joint here, comes the calcaneo-cuboid. Okay, so among these the intertarsal joints, these 3 joints are very important, and the talocalcanean plus talocalcaneo-naviculars, these 2 joints are together called subtalar joints. Okay, and the talocalcaneo-navicular and the calcaneo-cuboid, these 2 together called mid-tarsal joints. So that's about subtalar and mid-tarsal. The subtalar consists of talocalcaneum and talocalcaneo-navicular. The mid-tarsal consisting of talocalcaneo-navicular and calcaneo-cuboid. Is it clear? So that's about the mid-tarsal. Okay, so the subtalar is very important. So where the inversion eversion movements takes place at the subtalar joint. Okay, so remember, it is not at the ankle joint. The inversion eversion takes place at the subtalar joints. Is it clear? So that's about the so of course the inversion eversion movements. So there is a separate lecture class. We will discuss in detail about the inversion, what is eversion in the lecture. But remember, so that takes place at these joints. So what is subtalar? Talocalcaneal and talocalcaneo-navicular. What is mid-tarsal? Talocalcaneo-navicular and calcaneo-cuboid. So that's about the important joints of the intertarsal joints. Where important movements the inversion, eversion, so taking place at these joints. Okay, hope it's clear for you. So that's about the articulated foot. Articulated foot, the consisting of the tarsals, the metatarsals, and the phalanges. Okay, so go through the each and every bone. Okay, so mainly it has got the dorsal surface, plantar surface, medial surface, lateral surface, first the proximal and distal surfaces. The important features over these surfaces that helps you to identify the side determination, the anatomical position. Okay, so go through each and every surface. So each bone has got its the important features over that surface. For example, if you take the navicular, the medial surface has got medial tuberosity. With the help of the medial tuberosity, you can identify the side determination. So if you take the cuboid, it has got the lateral surface of the cuboid has got the groove. Okay, and of course it continues to the plantar surface also. Okay, so like that. So each and every bone has got its specific the features over the surfaces. Thereby you can identify the side determination, as well as you can keep the bone in its anatomical position. Okay, so that's about the articulated foot. Thank you for your patience listening.